Well, hello there, and welcome to this video on Task 4 Part D, Determining Assessment Decisions for BSB TEF202. All right, so in the previous section, Part C, you would have gone through and given your the student booklet for the BSB PEF 202 unit to each of the candidates. You would have conducted the assessment with them and video recorded yourself doing that, or you may have done it in class. And essentially, what you're going to do for part D is now make some assessment decisions or result your candidate, as we say there. So we'll come down and let's check out the steps that we've got here. So step number one is mark each assessment task using the assessor guide. So you're going to go through and mark the answers of your candidate there. All right. So then we will check out step number two, which is record the outcomes of each assessment task on the assessment record tool. And as we've talked about, the record tool is basically just a cover sheet. All right. And then step three, based on the outcomes of each assessment task, make a final judgment about each candidate's overall competency for this unit. So record the overall outcome for each section, and then overall, would you deem the person competent or not yet competent? Hopefully that makes sense for you. All right, and then you're going to label the evidence and you're going to attach it to this section. So making sure that you attach any completed documents that you have for this task. All right, so we'll come down here. Now, step four is reviewing the evidence you've collected and the candidate's outcome. Identify if you need to schedule reassessment for either the candidates and explain how you will proceed. What that means is if any candidate's got any answers wrong, then you might speak to that in here. So you may say if any candidate's got it all right, then you would mention that in there as well. And that would answer that question there. And step five is now creating the communication to the candidate to let them know of the result there. So send an email to each candidate stating their overall outcome and giving feedback on their performance. You did this in a previous task, so you should be okay with it. And this this example here gives you a bit of a prompting or reference point on how you would write that email there. All right, so dear candidate, thank you for your work on, and if they got their answers all correct and all happy days, all tasks completed and competent, then this is the way that you could write that. Or if they got any wrong, then you could give them the result of not yet competent and let them know that they need to be reassessed or they need to redo some tasks there. All right. Then we're going to come down and we've got a list of what you need to supply as part of your evidence there. So then we're going to come down and we've got the checklist for the assessor, and good to know for you to be aware of what the assessor is going to be looking at when they look at your documents. All right. So they're going to be checking it to see that you have marked each task and you've referred to the assessor guidance, ideally. Number two, they're going to check to see that you've recorded judgments for each of the assessment tasks, and again, you've filled out the assessment record tool. You made a decision about the candidate's overall competency, whether a competent or not yet competent, and you provided feedback to the candidate in written form there, and it is good quality feedback. All right. So that is essentially what you'll be assessed against when you submit your documents there. And very good to know. So we're going to come down, and then the last section here is basically the end of the booklet. And this is where you're going to pop in your learner signature and then drop in the date there as well. The rest will be filled out by your RAM training assessor who will be assessing your performance. All right. So hopefully that all makes sense there. And if you have any questions, reach out to your trainer and assessor. And feel free to watch these videos numerous times if you need to. And as you're going through the paperwork, just make sure that you're familiar with the reference documents and it kind of makes sense. But if you make any major errors on the documents, that's okay, because that's a learning experience there as well. All right. But just make sure that you are familiar with the reference documents. You kind of get a sense of, okay, I'm going to assess some candidates against some units of competency, and be as thorough as you can, but know that it's the end of the world if you misread a document or misunderstand something. And if you are concerned, though, you may want to pick up the phone or shoot an email to your trainer assessor and just say, am I interpreting something correctly? You may just want to do a double check there. On that note, folks, thanks for watching the video series, and feel free to check out any of the other videos as well. And make sure that you do stay tuned with the support services that are available. And you can also post questions into the Facebook group as well. That's another way that you can get an extra hand if you need it. On that note, thanks for watching, and we wish you the very best with all of your assessments.